On December 14th, Andrew Tate took the opportunity to attack Jake Paul on the streets in what was truly a shocking and unexpected moment. The encounter happened during a public event, and Tate, never one to shy away from controversy, didn't hesitate to confront Jake. The so-called boxer, as Tate might describe him, seemed to be looking for attention, possibly thinking he could just engage in some light trash talk. Jake Paul, probably expecting a playful exchange, didn't realize that this wasn't the usual height for a fight. There were no cameras, no staged promos. This was a real unscripted confrontation that quickly escalated.
Champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you.
Andrew Tate, as calm as ever, approached Jake in his signature style. He wasn't there for a verbal sparring match. He was there to send a clear message. You don't trash talk Andrew Tate and get away with it.
The biggest clown on the fucking internet. If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate.
In that brief moment, Jake seemed to realize this wasn't just another YouTube video. No punches had been thrown yet, but Andrew Tate's sheer physical intimidation was enough to make Jake's confidence falter. You could almost see the wheels turning in his head. Wait, this guy's for real.
Whatever conditions you want. 2 brothers, 1 cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now.
There's a deep history between Jake Paul and Andrew Tate, and it goes beyond the typical YouTube or social media drama. It's personal, at least as personal as it gets when you're talking about 2 men who are extremely self-confident, if not outright arrogant, and have built their careers around seeking attention. But sometimes, when the spotlight shines too brightly, things can quickly go from hype to real conflict. Andrew Tate doesn't need money. He's sitting pretty with a fortune of $710 million. What's truly at stake here is respect. Now let's dive into what sparked this clash. The real tension began when Jake Paul, after boxing some lower-tier fighters, and yes, we're not diving into the debate about whether those challenges were legit, started throwing around names for his next opponent. One of those names? The legendary Mike Tyson. You don't just call out Mike Tyson unless you're either extremely confident or a bit naive to think you can take him down. Jake Paul clearly wanted to capitalize on that challenge, not just to gain fame, but to make millions in ticket sales and pay-per-view revenue. What better way to do that than to target a living legend like Tyson? But Tyson wasn't interested. And that's where things got complicated. 3 weeks ago, a comment by Venture the Unknown predicted that Andrew Tate would knock Jake out, setting the stage for even more tension. There was just one problem. Mike Tyson, a heavyweight champion with a legendary legacy in the sport, wasn't interested in playing along with this circus. Tyson had been through enough to recognize when something was just a publicity stunt, and he wasn't about to be dragged into it. This left Jake Paul scrambling to find another big name to match his bravado. Andrew Tate saw an opening. Not only was Jake Paul trying to challenge legends, but he was also avoiding real competition. Tate, never one to back down from calling out fake toughness, recognized this as a prime opportunity. While Jake Paul was stepping into the ring with low-tier fighters, Tate was an accomplished kickboxer with multiple championships to his name. Known for his no-nonsense attitude, Tate isn't afraid to speak his mind, and he saw the whole Jake Paul situation as an invitation to step in. So naturally, Tate did what anyone with a massive ego and a history of challenging others would do. He called Jake Paul out. But Tate's challenge wasn't subtle, it was bold and unmistakable. He wasn't looking for a charity fight or a friendly sparring session like Jake's previous opponents. This was about something much bigger, serious money, and above all, respect.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract, and two,
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might.
And it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul. Well,
Andrew Tate, with his $710 million fortune, wasn't chasing fame or money. He already had both. What he had was a point to prove. Jake Paul, a self-proclaimed boxing sensation, had been picking fights with legends while avoiding real competition. For Tate, this wasn't about another win. It was about putting Jake in his place. Tate wanted to show the world that he, not Jake, was the one with real fighting experience, the one who earned his name in combat sports. This fight wasn't about money or fame. It was about demonstrating the difference between empty talk and genuine action.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickball.
So how much was this fight worth? A casual $50 million. That's right, $50 million. In one corner, you have Jake Paul, the social media king, raking in millions from his boxing bouts. In the other, Andrew Tate, the seasoned kickboxing champion with millions of followers and an even bigger bank account. But Tate wasn't just any contender. He had been honing his skills long before Jake ever thought of stepping into a ring. For Tate, this fight wasn't about cashing in on the spectacle. It was about proving who was the real deal. With a net worth of $710 million, he could have chosen countless other fights or simply retired to a life of luxury. But this was personal, and that's what set it apart.
But let's say he would call you to fight. Would you take it?
Yeah, I mean, Jake and I actually talk. He's an all right guy. There was a time we were talking about fighting each other, and I think if this arrest didn't happen, it probably would have come to fruition. We'll see what happens in the future.
Now, let's talk about Jake Paul for a moment, because, well, he's Jake Paul, and with him, you can always count on one thing: he'll never stop talking. After Andrew Tate's call out, Jake didn't back down. Oh no, he did exactly what Jake Paul does best: talk trash. He couldn't resist taking shots at Tate, questioning his fighting ability, and tossing out insults like they were second nature. Let's be honest, Jake's brand of trash talk isn't exactly eloquent. Andrew Tate's just a washed-up fighter trying to stay relevant. He ranted on Instagram. This guy's nothing but an internet personality. I'm the future of boxing, and I'm going to crush him.
Come on, fight!
There it was, the typical Jake Paul move. He called Andrew Tate washed up, just like he had done with every other fighter who didn't immediately roll over for him. But let's be honest, was that a smart move? Probably not. Andrew Tate wasn't the kind of guy to let those words slide, and Jake should have known that. Tate doesn't sit back when his reputation is questioned, and with his extensive experience in combat sports, he knows exactly how to make a statement. But Jake Paul, true to form, couldn't help himself. In fact, the more Jake talked, the deeper he dug himself into a hole. The world watched as Tate calmly responded, daring Jake to step into the ring. Jake, ever the provocateur, kept firing back on Twitter. What happened next? Things escalated quickly, and Jake was about to learn a very valuable lesson. You don't just trash talk Andrew Tate without expecting serious consequences. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather had just destroyed Jake Paul, the so-called problem child of boxing, after rejecting his challenge, further intensifying the pressure on Jake.
He does tend to keep those guards down, but he's comfy at that point.